I want you to picture a normal morning in the stable for a second. You've got your whiteboard full of half rubbed out notes, your group chat is buzzing, and someone actually just sent a message asking if that horse got their meds this morning. That exact moment right there is why I built EquiCare. Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and I am the founder of EquiCare. I'm also a writer and a coach, which is really why I'm here. And today I want to talk about how technology can genuinely support horses, not just complicate things, and why horse management specifically is really due for an upgrade. Managing horses today is really incredibly complex. We are juggling health records, feeding routines, competition schedules, and with team communication and everything stored in different places. It makes it really, really complex. And usually it's not that riders are disorganized, it's just that we've never been given the right system to manage things clearly, and that's just not sustainable anymore. These outdated systems really directly affect horse welfare and the consistency of care, the mental load, especially of riders and staff. And a lot of the time that leads to mistreatments or an inconsistent schedule. And that doesn't happen because we don't care. It just happens because the information gets lost and there's nowhere to keep all of that information so that you can have an organized structure. So that exact reason and that exact gap is why I built EquiCare, because it affects especially the horse health and welfare, the rider performance, the mental load, the stable organization, the list goes on, and it really shouldn't be this hard. I personally lived this situation. I've been riding since I was very little. I've competed up to 3-star in eventing. And when I got injured when I was in my early 20s, I had my parents, who don't know anything about horses, looking after my horse. And when they were looking after my 3-star horse, we really realized that there was no way for them to know exactly what needed to happen. And all of that information lived in my head. So that was the idea and where EquiCare was born, because I really wanted to make it easier for myself. But when I actually started to talk to other people, we realized that this was a solution, well, not a solution, it was an issue for everyone. And I wanted to create a solution for that. So this is introducing EquiCare. Now, it's the exact gap and why I built EquiCare. Now, EquiCare is a connected digital platform specifically designed for how riders and stables actually work, not just some big tech giant who's come in and is creating a platform about how we think we should work. It's built by me, and I've made it for riders and stables with the goal of just making good care easier and also available to consistently deliver that kind of high quality care. EquiCare is really centered about everything for the horse. So each horse has their own profile with care, feeding, training, competitions, literally everything you can think of in one place. So instead of remembering when something's due, the system actually supports you and keeps things visible. And if you ever need to look back on something, you know exactly where you need to go. Whether it's a vet visit, a schedule, literally anything you can document, you can attach files, you can keep everything in one place. And over time, that creates a really clear and reliable care history so that you can also create better decisions. That comes into it with all of the training aspect as well. So this is what the app looks like. We've got everything here from your horse profiles, weekly plans, calendar, feeding plans. You get a weekly view of all of the horses together so that if you want to see everything at a glance for your whole stable, this makes it really, really easy when you do have a lot of horses and you want to make sure that your day is running well. But if you go into the horse profile specifically, you can just see that horse at once. Now, we are also about to launch the desktop version of the app in early Feb. So this is a really, really big step for the company, but also for those who prefer to just organize things from a laptop or teams who have a larger scale data management. It's going to make it super, super easy, and everything from the desktop and the app sync together. So there is absolutely nothing lost in translation. You can be halfway across the world and log something in on the app or the desktop, and the other person on the other side of the world will get it instantly. So it makes it super, super handy if you've got people that are looking after your horse if you're away, or even just grooms and owners and everything like that. So this is more of the screens that we've got here. It's also something that I have built for teams. So with this in mind, one of the biggest challenges that stables have is communication, and EquiCare allows you to give shared access to grooms, owners, anyone who needs that information, so that everybody knows what needs to be done and who's potentially responsible for that. But also you can see when it has been done, because you can tick things off a list. That makes it really, really easy if you've got multiple people in a team, because you can have someone who just ticks something off the list, and if you're not sure if it's been done, you can just check the app and you don't even need to ask. So it really removes that guesswork, and reduces the constant back and forth, which usually often leads to mistakes. So before EquiCare, things looked a little bit chaotic like this on a whiteboard, covered in dust, dirt, messy, and you're half scrubbing out things all the time. After this is what EquiCare looks like. So it's a much, much cleaner system, and there's nothing that you need to rub the whole whiteboard off to redo things. You can really quickly just edit things, and it just updates automatically. So the actual technology behind EquiCare, from a tech perspective, EquiCare is mobile first and obviously soon to be desktop, and it's cloud-based, which has servers running on AWS. So we've designed it to be really secure, really scalable, and flexible enough so that we can grow. The long-term vision includes integration with vets, competition entries, other wearables and things like that, as well as equine technology. And as the industry evolves, we can update and evolve with the app as well. EquiCare is already being used in heaps of environments. So from professional livery yards managing multiple horses, to competition riders coordinating just a few horses, as well as just your pleasure rider who just wants to keep on top of things and still reach their goals. No matter who you are, there is a place for that in EquiCare. The desktop is going to be at a higher price point, so for those more professional people who want that access, whereas if you've just got a pleasure rider, or you've just got someone who has one or two horses, they can just choose to use the app if you want, and it's really, really affordable, because that's a big thing for me that I wanted to make sure. I grew up having to pay for all of those extra things that I wanted for my horse, so I wanted to be able to make the app affordable, so that no matter who you are and no matter your financial circumstance, you can have access to it. Obviously then, for the people that need a higher kind of level of management, the desktop app will be more appropriate, and then you've got a bit more of a premium feature. So when we talk about impacts and benefits, when systems improve, everything else usually follows. So you've got fewer mistreatments, you have way more consistent care, and also time saved for your riders and the staff, because that really leads to better transparency and trust. You've got more confidence in your day-to-day, and ultimately that just leads to better outcomes for horses. So when you think about training, health, competitions, goals, literally everything, it's pretty much impossible to try and manage all of that effectively in your head. And that is where EquiCare really comes out and stands out, because you can have everything there. And I know personally for me, at the start of each week, at the moment I have a young horse that I'm training, at the start of each week, I will plan out the whole week in the app, and just to make sure that I can see if I've got any health appointments coming up, and then her training load. So I can make sure that everything is divided equally. If I need to have more recovery days, less recovery days, you can balance out the training load, and really that leads to better performance and way better outcomes for the horse. So we are seeing really consistent and strong traction already. It's signs that the industry is honestly really ready for this shift. We've got paying users across Australia, UK, the US and Europe, with really strong organic adoption. Our socials are really strong. We get a lot of people through there, and we have really high conversion and retention rates. So EquiCare has grown basically oh God, almost tripled in the last 6 months. And riders are really actively seeking for better systems, and EquiCare has been the solution for them. So we're really, really excited for the future because we've only just getting started, really. And the feedback is just amazing as well that we always get. Literally every single person that I talk to, if I introduce EquiCare, their response is, how come I don't know about this already? So it's really, really positive and really exciting for the future. So that leads into our long-term vision, which is really building a digital backbone for the equestrian world when it comes to horse management. We want to create one place where data, insights, and collaboration work together to support horse welfare and performance. This is really a first for the equestrian world, and the industry just as a whole is entering its first real digital shift, and a lot of the riders coming up are becoming tech native. So the expectations around just them being on their phone all the time is kind of just without saying. So they are looking for that platform where they can use that on their phone, because no one really wants to be carrying around diaries anymore. As well as the expectations for welfare are rising quite a lot. So it really, really is a no-brainer that a system like this is going to come bigger and bigger, because the timing really matters, and the timing is now for that kind of adoption. So it will really, really be the backbone of the equestrian world. In the future, we'd love to do predictive health insights. You've got all of those kinds of things, as well as, like I talked about, with the competition entries, vets, all of that kind of stuff. The future is I would love to create another app alongside it for the professional side of things. So for your vets and farriers and things like that, and then they can sync together in terms of booking appointments, all of that kind of thing with calendars, and that can just sync, and it can be the one place where everybody goes to manage their horse health, welfare, just everything together. Because we're not just building an app, it is going to be an infrastructure, and we don't want to replace the horsemanship. It is just designed to enhance things and make it easier for everybody. So with that in mind, if there's one thing I hope you can take away today, is that horse care really deserves better systems. So if you're a rider, you're a stable, a vet, or investor who really believes that the technology can support horses, I'd really love to connect with you, and I really appreciate your time. So with that in mind, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoy all the talks which I had today, and please reach out if you have any questions or just like to learn more.